Now, do you see a point in the near future where like investors will start sitting on their money and holding out to basically kind of get a grasp on the economy to hold it back and
at the current status we're at right now with I believe the current taxation levels we're at right now, we're still in pretty good shape. But if certain legislation passes that's been proposed and tax rates start increasing, you will see a decrease in investment in the marketplace, which conversely you'll see a decrease in construction.
Now we're running.
All right. Hey guys, Jeff here with Jeff Givens, Chris Work, and Jerry Work, and our special guest, Mr. Mike Yates. Mr. Mike Yates is with DSC Architects. He has been in the construction industry his whole life, 40 plus years now? Mm-hmm. And he's been in all aspects of it, from excavation and pipe works all the way up through healthcare. So, and that's your current status right now is healthcare facilities, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Healthcare design.
Healthcare design. And very knowledgeable, has a lot of insight, and we kind of got off topic a little while ago. We're talking about some cattle and some other stuff, but we're going to try to focus a little bit on construction one more time. So, Mike, again, we talked about earlier, some different, aspects of how you see it and how I see it, as far as what the pandemic has been and what we've been through and different issues. We struggle with materials and supplies. I guess looking towards the future, do you have any idea like what the future holds or like the direction we're heading in?
I wish I had a magic ball.
Yeah, me too.
As with anything, I think a lot of it relies, you see it in a cyclical sense, but I think more so in the last couple of years, business people in general, because of investing, and let's face it, in the construction industry, most of what we do is based upon investment. So if people are able to make a profit off an investment, they're going to invest their money into some type of project, whether it's building a new building or building a new hospital. As a company, they're going to be able to make a profit off this expansion of business. Right. The political climate drives that. And unfortunately,
that's the scary part.
The political climate in the country is very scary and very unsettling and very unnerving to a large number of folks, including the people that invest their money. So the next couple of election cycles is probably going to determine, between the election cycles and the COVID stuff that keeps extending, is going to have a huge impact and a huge determination upon the market in general. So everything from residential to commercial.
Now, do you see a point in the near future where like investors will start sitting on their money and holding out to basically kind of get a grasp on the economy to hold it back and
at the current status we're at right now with I believe the current taxation levels we're at right now, we're still in pretty good shape. But if certain legislation passes that's been proposed and tax rates start increasing, you will see a decrease in investment in the marketplace, which conversely you'll see a decrease in construction.
Well, that's something I've seen in the past. It seems like a lot of your major investors, they'd rather take a loss on their money and sit on it for a few years.
They'll reinvest it in a different medium, in a different market,
in a different administration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I was going, like a political stance, is that's something I've seen in the past, like where major markets, major investors will sit back because they're not happy with the current administration. They'll sit on their money and take a loss until they can make a turn in our presidential administration.
Mm-hmm. Well, anybody that's in business is in business for one reason, and that's to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying you're going to make a lottery windfall on your profit, but you have to be able to make a profit to be in business. And if people are able to make a profit, then they employ other people that makes a living through their wages and salaries, and then that generates that filters out into every facet of society, whether it's construction or whether it's retail or what have you. The people that are employed in construction, they earn a salary, they spend their money on, housing and food and cars, so that supports the economy. So when there's several facets of the economy, if they're suffering, the country's going to suffer. And construction is one of them. It's one of the largest employee sectors of the country. You got manufacturing that's a large portion, but by and large, construction
outweighs it.
Yeah, outweighs it both in residential and commercial. Now, when you take and start dialing down into that, residential is a huge part of the market, whether it's single-family homes or if it's multifamily or multi-story. And when that suffers, when we had the real estate meltdown in 08, 09, that was primarily on the residential side, but it had a delusional effect on the commercial side as well because of lending. Both sides of that equation has to have financing to be able to exist.
Right.
And when the residential side started melting down, the lending started tightening up, so therefore commercial projects started slowing down. It wasn't that the need for the commercial wasn't there, they just couldn't get the lending. Even during COVID, we've had projects this year that we wasn't able to get started because the lending side of it, they couldn't close their loans because they had labor effects on the mortgage companies. Everybody stopped working in their office and had to start going, working from home, and that slowed the process down a lot. So the market is very liquid and it's very volatile right now in the fact that it's moving around. People are, everything's new. 20 years ago, telecommuting from home, that was a luxury. If you could get a job where you could work at home and earn a living, that was something that was almost like fantasy land. If I could get it,
But
nowadays it's the norm.
I was going to say that's one thing I've seen. Like through this whole pandemic thing is like a lot of your construction companies and manufacturers and everything else that has upper management, they're seeing a greater return on their money by having people work from home.
Yes.
Because it doesn't cost them as much to
the old argument used to be from the human resources side, there's no accountability, these people are going to be able to do whatever they want. They have found out that that's not the case.
Yeah.
People are motivated, they have to have a job, they have to earn a living, they're motivated to do their work at home. And let's face it, we're in the 21st century. We have portable electronic gear now that we can use that we didn't have 10 or 15 20 years ago. Also, the softwares we're using, there's accountability there. You got to get your productivity done or it's not done.
Oh, your employer knows when you've signed on.
But in case in point, what you're talking about right now, from the first round of COVID, we shut down. Our company did. We went to work from home. Upper management, our guys in the field continued to work outside, but upper management went home and worked. Our office shut down. We talked about backlog earlier. My backlog grew by like 30 to 35% in those 5 months I was home. I picked up more work working from home than I ever did in the office.
Well, part of it is you have a greater window of productivity because you're not spending 2 hours a day commuting back and forth.
Exactly.
It's almost,
I got up at the same time.
You can be productive on the phone working the phones, but you can't be productive working on a computer driving down the road.
My biggest issue was
sitting at your desk at home for 2 hours extra a day that you wasn't before.
My biggest, I guess, hurdle was a couple times a week I had to go into the office and print off drawings, and then come back home, to be able to work with. But I got up my regular time, and like you said, I didn't have an hour and a half commute to work. I got started, I get up at 3:30 every morning, and I'm usually at work at 5:30. So I was working from home at like 4:30, 4:15 every morning, and hell, by lunchtime, 1 o'clock, I'm pretty much done with the day. I've done everything I normally do, but my wife doesn't get home from work till like 4:30. I'll be set up in my bonus room, and I got a window overlooking my garage. I didn't know what time it was. She'd be pulling in. I'm like, I realized, my owner, my boss, he's already got like 2.5, 3 more hours of productivity out of me that he normally wouldn't have got.
Now the flip side of the coin and the negative effect that's going to have is going to be on Class A office space, because you have these companies that are reducing their office footprint because people are working from home.
Right.
they're literally letting their leases expire. So you're starting to have this glut of Class A office space out there that's being unused. Got a good friend of mine. Their headquarters is in California, but they had a satellite office in Brentwood. When he got hired in back last spring, his first day in the office, he went in, got his computer, signed all his paperwork, went home, got an email that night, said, we're closing the office due to COVID. So you're going to work from home temporarily. 3 months later, got another email, we are closing this office permanently. If you need anything else to make your office at home more productive, please contact this person. And he works from home full time now. They don't even have an office in Nashville. They let their lease go. So part of the real estate market meltdown prediction is going to be on the commercial office space side.
I can see
So
that.
I can see that coming because
there is an opportunity to repurpose those buildings.
there is
Well,
an
there
opportunity.
is. Yeah, I was gonna say I can see it both sides. Innovation with some of these younger startups, especially tech in Middle Tennessee, which is big. That might be chomping at the bit to get a hold of some of that.
And there is some good tech startups around it. People don't realize, but there's a lot of tech startup in Nashville.
Oh,
Yeah.
massive amount. Yeah,
And
Nashville is one of the programming central programming areas.
And there's a
in the US.
huge healthcare presence in Nashville.
especially
People
Yeah.
don't realize. So
Yeah.
insurance and healthcare, but a lot of health. There's a lot of small healthcare companies that don't necessarily operate in the mainstream out there that are headquartered out of Nashville. So
Well, Mike, we're going to wrap it up, bud. But hey, I really do appreciate you coming out. We appreciate your insight and
it's
your
been very
experience.
enjoyable, and would welcome coming back
Yeah,
anytime.
we most
we
awesome.
can make our schedules work, and
Most gladly like to have you back in the future.
maybe we can pick out some topics and then have general discussions on,
Yes,
on
sir.
the specific topics. So,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, hopefully we won't be talking about the downfall of the commercial real estate
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
I like y'all are focused in the underground utility world, and I've worked there and I love it. And one of my favorite things is laying. I love laying underground utilities. I love laying
Well,
pipe.
it's- But I'm focused more on that, but I'm also focused on grade work. And the thing with Profit Dig is, and I'm kind of getting off key here, but I'm getting kind of on our platform. But we will work for many other platforms other than excavation and utility work.
Absolutely.
You could actually do your home economics on our platform.
Good.
But again, we want to thank Mike for coming out and sharing his wisdom and his knowledge and his experience. We really enjoyed it. Enjoyed our dinner tonight, and Mike and I go way back, and I appreciate you coming in and being a part of this. And we do look forward to having you again in the future. And I hope some of this information has been informational for y'all and can shed some light on some things. But again, like us, share us, come back and visit with us and see us, and hope to see Michael soon in the near future.
I appreciate it.
Thank
Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.